Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela WebDev. So in this video we will try to learn about the circular dependencies. So how to resolve the circular dependency using the forwardRef. Okay, so using the forwardRef. So this is resolving the circular dependency. So what is this circular dependency? Circular dependencies normally, so what I will try to tell you is, so circular dependencies occur when two or more classes depend on each other directly or indirectly, creating a situation where Angular cannot resolve the dependencies properly. So the forwardRef function is a way to resolve this problem. So for example, if you are having two classes, I will try to tell you understanding this circular dependencies. So how you can understand this one is, so I will try to explain you. In Angular, the order of class declaration matters because one class needs to be defined before it can be referenced by the another class. Circular dependencies happens when, so when it will be dependent is class A depends on the class B, and in return class B also depends on class A. So that means both the class A and class B are dependent on each other. These, what I want to tell you is, so this mutual dependency creates a situation where Angular can't instantiate either class because it waits for the other to be defined first. This is known as a circular dependency. So when it wants to define this class A means it needs to get the class B defined. When it wants to class B defined means it needs to wait for the class A defined. So that means mutual dependency is there. So then what is the use of this forwardRef then? The forwardRef function helps Angular to break this circular dependency. It does this by allowing a class to refer to another class indirectly. Instead of needing the second class immediately, the reference of that class to that class is deferred until it's needed, which gives Angular the time to resolve all the dependencies correctly. So when do you use this forwardRef? So that means when do you use this forwardRef? You use forwardRef in Angular when you encounter circular dependencies, especially when you want one class to refer to another class or itself before the class is defined. One common scenario where this happens is with providers in the Angular dependency injection system. So the common thing. So for example, let's say that I will try to give you some simple example where this thing will happen. So let's say that I will try to take a simple example. Here I will create two components, that is nothing but ng gc list component, and also I will create another component that is nothing but ng gc list item. So these both are dependent to each other. Let's try to see how we can solve this issue. So I will create another one that is nothing but ng gc list item. So I will create this one also. Let's try to create. These are the two components which I will be having, list and also the list item. So let's try to have it here. So these both are created. So what I will try to do, let's go to the app.component.ts file and here in our app.component.html file, and here I will create something like app-list. So okay, this is our new component, and here I will save this one also, and here also I will try to create list component. So let's try to import this list component. So hopefully everything has to work here. Yeah, list works. So we are able to see. So let's go and implement this list component.ts file. So let's have this list component.ts file, and here in our list.component.ts file, so what I will try to do here, it will take an input element. Okay, so here in our input element, so we will be having this input element from item, okay, from list item, and this one is of boolean, and by default I will keep it as a false. Fine, right? And in our list.component.html file, so here I will be using list.component.html file, and here this one is dependent on the list item component. Okay, and now let's go to the HTML file. So let's go to this HTML file. In this one I don't want to use anything, so I will create app-list-item. Okay, and this one should be there when if not of from list item is there, right? So then only it should be available. So that's it. So this is the code which I will be trying to create. So that means when it is false means then only. So if I don't provide anything, it is false, then we will be showing this list item component. And now let's go to the list item component. So now here I want to implement the list item component. Let's go to the list item component, list item component.ts file. Okay, this is our TS file, and here in this one, so what I will try to do it is, so here in our imports, so this one is dependent on the list component. Okay, again, so that means list item is dependent on the list component and list component is dependent on the list item. So both are dependent to each other. And now here what I want to do, so in the list item I don't want to represent anything, so just I will try to change the HTML code only. So here in our HTML code, what I will try to do it is, so let's open this HTML code also, list item component.html file, yeah, here, and here I will do app-list, but for this time I will try to send from list item is equal to true. So that means I don't want to show it. That's it. So now if you try to see the output for this one, so you will be able to see a circular dependency. We will be able to see an error. Why? Because cannot read properties of undefined e component get component definition. So that means you are getting an error in such a way that, so both what it is happening here, list component is dependent on the list item, and again the list item component is dependent on the list component. So both are interdependent to each other. So now before the creator of the instance, it is waiting to each other. So for in this scenario, what we need to do it is, so here in our list item component, so we need to use a forwardRef. Okay. So when we use the forwardRef, so it will wait until the instance is created. So now here I can create in such a way that forwardRef like this. That's it. So now it should be imported. This forwardRef should be imported. That's it. Now if you try to see here, now you will be able to see the output. So this is the example of clear-cut example of forwardRef. So whenever you are having a circular dependency, so then you need to use the forwardRef for that component so that it will be deferred or delayed until that component is created. So this is how we will be using the forwardRef. So this is very much useful when you are getting the circular dependencies. So that is one thing. And so I need to tell you that how forwardRef works under the hood. So let me try to explain it to you. So here the forwardRef function allows Angular to delay the evaluation of a dependency. Essentially, instead of resolving the reference immediately, which would cause the circular dependency, it wraps the reference in a function that will only be called when the dependency is actually needed. Angular knows that it will eventually need to resolve the dependency. By the time Angular tries to resolve the dependency, the reference class here the list item has already been fully defined. So when to use this forwardRef? So you may be having a doubt that when to use this forwardRef. So when to use this forwardRef is, first one is the self-referencing components. So first one is self-referencing components. If a component or a service needs to reference itself, forwardRef can be used to handle the circular reference. And another one is circular provider dependencies. So when you are having a circular provider dependencies, when you have a scenario in where two or more provider services or tokens depend on each other, forwardRef will help to break that dependency loop. And another one is, which I want to tell you, is parent-child component relationship. Sometimes parent and child components have a relationship where they both need to be reference each other, which I have explained to you in our previous example. Using forwardRef allows them to be declared and instantiated properly without dependency issues. So that is one thing. Common use cases for forwardRef. So I want to explain you the common use cases where you will be using this one. The first one is already I told you, right? Parent-child relationship. Components like list item and also the list menu item, where the child depends on the parent and vice versa, you can use forwardRef to manage the dependencies. Services, and also another one is services with mutual dependencies. So that one is if you have two services that rely on each other for functionality, means you can use forwardRef to resolve them in Angular dependency injection. So now another one is recursive structure. So when you are having a recursive structure, if you are dealing with a tree-like structure like a file system or a mini system where each node can reference both its parent or children, forwardRef is useful. So that's it. So now the last one which I want to tell you is drawbacks of this forwardRef. So is there any drawbacks of this forwardRef? Yes, drawbacks are there. Complexity. Using forwardRef can make your code harder to understand and maintain because it introduces an additional level of indirection. Overuse. While it's a handy tool, overlaying on the forwardRef might indicate that your architecture could be improved to reduce circular dependency in the first place. That's it. That's the thing. So hope you understood about this forwardRef concept. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.